Failure. No matter who you are, I'm sure at one point in your life, you felt the weight of not meeting expectations, or that no matter how much you succeed, there's always someone still better than you. It's not a good feeling, thinking that your work is for no reason. What's the point of doing something hard when you can do something easier and get more progress? If you're probably just going to fail, why even start? It's easier to simply feign indifference and pretend that you're fine with it, or not even try at all. That's the mentality of Sakurasou. He takes the path of least resistance, even when he's surrounded by people that all excel in some part of their life. Misaki is a brilliant animator, Jin is exceedingly charismatic, Mashiro is an art prodigy, but Sakurasou is just average. He lives a boring life, boring days melding into one another. But in the end, perhaps it's not the days that are boring.
It was me, for acting like somebody else.
It's natural to want success, but the issue comes that sometimes people lose, and it's not due to any reason in their control. Let me be a nerd for a second, but in a scene in Nicholas Taleb's book, The Black Swan, he categorizes statistics into two camps. Mediocrity contains any measurement that is predictable, and generally follows an average. If you fill a stadium with 1,000 people, and then added the heaviest man alive, the average weight won't change that much. Extremist standard is the opposite. Measurements are erratic and a single example can govern the average. If you took the same 1,000 people and then added Elon Musk, suddenly the total net worth of those 1,000 people becomes a rounding error. Mediocre standard is predictable, but extremist standard is basically luck. Social phenomena, like success, tends to fall on the ladder, but that's something that people tend to fail to realize. Sakurasou is surrounded by those examples that govern the average, but he's just some mediocre guy. He wants to be like them.
I'm the only one who doesn't have anything.
But is paralyzed by the fear of failing to do anything. He pretends to not care, but he still complains about his situation, as if that will somehow change it. He lacks the courage to take the chances he needs to get anywhere. I mean, how can he compare? He's just inherently worse than everyone around him, and he can't really do anything about that. He takes a defeatist attitude. Sure, he doesn't lose, but he also never wins.
Sakurasou, don't blame someone else on this. Decide where you want to be. That's your first step. If you can do that, you'll be able to decide what you want to do too.
But these idols Sakurasou has aren't perfect. They have their own insecurities. Misaki may be a great animator, but she just wants Jin to see her. Look at her the way he looks at other girls. She might be able to succeed traditionally, but she can't get that one thing she really wants. But Jin also feels inadequate. He only acts like he does because he doesn't want to seem like he cares about Misaki. Deep down he loves her, and always has, but feels like he can't be worthy of her.
Till I can proudly stand by her side, all I can do is struggle in vain.
He just doesn't want to hurt her. Mashiro may be a genius artist, but she doesn't care about that. She's more worried about how she burdens others.
Sakurasou, I didn't understand. I didn't understand anything she said. Do you understand what she said?
She just wants everyone to be happy, especially Sakurasou.
You were by Nanami's side again when you weren't up here on the roof.
Today was meant to be a very important day for Aoyama.
It was supposed to be an important day for me too. But you didn't say those things to me. You didn't say we'd work hard together.
She wants them to treat her like they would treat any other person, not some genius artist that's above them. Our brains focus on what we can't do a lot more than what we can, making us feel we're all failures. That's ultimately what lets Sakurasou finally break his cycle, realizing that everyone like him feels like they're failures. The difference is they try. They make efforts towards their goals. By not trying, Sakurasou robs himself of really being anything, of being happy. He might never be special, but he can still do the best he can, since that's all that should really matter to him.
I kept thinking about what would happen if I failed. So I just gave up altogether. But being in this dorm and watching you made me want to try harder.
He finally takes a step forward. And gets kicked back immediately. I say you shouldn't care about what others think and compare yourself to others, but that isn't a very realistic mindset in practice. Despite doing his best, Sakurasou still failed. In many ways, there are only a set number of people that can make it, And with those cases, it matters a whole lot how you compare to others. Saito becomes bitter at this failure, that no matter how hard he works, it doesn't work out for him. Meanwhile, others can put in no effort and still succeed. But the thing is, failure is inevitable. You will eventually mess up, but no one will fail forever too. Don't see failure as an end to your chances, but a way to be better the next time. Success doesn't have to come immediately, as long as you get up and try again. If your best right now isn't enough, that's okay, just as long as you work at it. But that doesn't mean you have to take failure well.
I didn't pass.
You are still allowed to be upset about these things. Even if things aren't in your control, it's still a natural response to get upset.
What about my 2 years? I've been patient this whole time. When all my friends went to karaoke or went shopping, I had work. I endured all of it just so I wouldn't regret playing around or slacking off. I gave it everything I had.
Yeah.
But it's pointless. There's no point. If I fail the audition, it's not worth it.
You worked hard. Harder than anyone. You really worked so hard!
You shouldn't hide that. Just give yourself a bit of rest time. This may all seem irrational. I'm saying contradictory things at once. That you need to keep going, but also rest. That you shouldn't worry about failure, but still be upset about it. But in the end, aren't we all irrational? As I said, we focus far more on negatives than positives. That's what the Black Swan is ultimately about. How we as humans fail to reason. How we struggle to predict or think about things in a logical sense. Swans are all white until I tell you I can go into my backyard and find a black swan. We think of what we only know, only feel, and base everything else off that. And if we're all irrational, fail to see logic for what it is, wouldn't that make us all failures? Jerma is a funny guy, but this came into my recommended recently, and
my depression's been getting especially bad and I don't know what to do. What do you do when you are in, or when you were in a dark place? If you're not feeling great, but you can make somebody else, you know that you can make somebody else feel good, do it. Because seeing somebody else happy because of something that you did is sort of this addicting back and forth process where it makes you glad and happy knowing that you are the reason why somebody or something else is happy. I think a lot of times we put happiness next to accomplishment, right? And accomplishment doesn't need to be money or famous or wicked good job. All those things are great, but accomplishment can be anything. You can accomplish small things for people that they see as very large things. You just have to make somebody else happy. Make yourself happy by making other people happy in your life.
This clip says everything I wanted to say in this video, but in less time. The only difference is it doesn't have cute anime girls. I'm admitting it. My content is self-help, but I bait you with the cute anime. Saito was driven to change by people, but when things got difficult, those same people supported him. You should accept support like that, and let others worry about you, because in a way, that's a form of success. Worry less about reaching some goal or thing you want, but what you already have. Cherish that, but don't stop chasing those dreams. As long as you're growing towards something, and surrounded by good people, you've succeeded. I want to say something before I end the video. This video is a bit different to what I usually make. If this is the first thing you're seeing from me, I don't know, go watch my other stuff. It's the same principle, but maybe not the same form. I worked really hard. I put something out on some tight schedule. I tried to have a well thought out theme, and in some ways I think I succeeded. I am proud of what I made, but I'm still left with this feeling that I can do better. Some of my favourite videos are some of my first ones, because at that point I wasn't really chasing anything. My Lane and Evangelion videos are things I made in my own time, with not really that much pressure. They also came from times where I maybe wasn't in the best headspace, but we'll ignore that. I gave myself that time to dive deeper into what I wanted to talk about. I only have a limited time to do the things I want to, and I want to make sure that I do them. I want to make things I want to, things I want to see, things where I feel I have something different to say, about things that I put a lot of thought into. Because even if no one cares, making something that I want in the world is success in my eyes. I'm going to tackle something that I've wanted to for a while, but I've put off for how deep I would want to make it.
Everything that lives is designed to end. We are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. Is this a curse? Or some kind of punishment? I often think about the God who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle, and wonder if we'll ever have the chance to kill him.
Anyway, this isn't usually how I do it, so I don't know what to say anymore. Have fun. Let me be nerdy for a second, but Nassim Nicholas Taleb. I said that correctly the first time, oh my god.